You can follow the show on Twitter at First and Goal Pod. Follow the guys at UPJ33, at Steak and Cheese, and at DylanBusby1. Email the show, First and Goal Podcast at yahoo.com, with all your football and Packer questions and comments, and you just might end up making the show live. That's First and Goal Podcast at yahoo.com.
Them you're never walking out again. Don't turn your back on the wolf pack. Don't turn your back on the wolf pack. Don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
The Packers will have a first and goal. Receiver to the right, Jimmy Graham. Rodgers, quick toss in the flat, left side. Got his man for the end zone and a touchdown.
I've been grinding so long, been trying this shit for years. And I got nothing to show, just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man upstairs, he kept bringing me rain. But I've been sending up prayers and something's changed. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Now all my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now.
And welcome everybody to another live edition of First and Goal, the matchup show with me, your founder and producer, Jay in the UP, and down in Georgia, your host with the most, it's Dave.
What's going on, Jay? What's going on, First and Goalers?
I'm kind of tired, and but yet still wide awake.
Tired?
Well, I worked a double today, and, you know, it's been a long freaking day. It's been a long day, 8 to 8:30. It was a long day.
Aw.
I'm ready to talk some football.
I know. So a couple things have happened since we've last been on, and I hope everyone enjoyed their Halloween last night.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you.
We actually had a tornado warning and a tornado touchdown at 5:45 p.m. At 6:15, the kids went trick-or-treating.
It was 23 degrees here.
I'll take 23 degrees over tornadoes.
Me
You
too.
can see, you can look over. It was two neighborhoods over. It was just a funnel cloud. Went straight down, was down for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then went back up.
The wife played chauffeur, and I was in my standard angry psycho pumpkin head costume I've been wearing for 5 years now, because otherwise my kids put me in spandex. It's not good.
You'd look like another kid if you did.
No, it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
So, no, I was Fat Thor. My kids were Captain America and Hulk and JoJo Siwa. I don't know who the last one is, but my wife was
you have a
Supergirl,
kid
so
that you have a kid that loves Jordan Seaweed too?
JoJo Siwa.
Yeah, it's Jordan Seaweed in my house. Drives my daughter nuts.
My daughter's obsessed with it. She's literally a mini me of her, and my daughter knows it.
Oh God, yeah. And she gets mad at me every time I say, "How come you look like Jordan Seaweed?" And she's like, "It's not. I am JoJo Siwa, Dad." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I said, Jordan Seaweed." Oh, and she wants to hit me.
But no, we got to start off with some NFL news, man. There's been a couple biggies out there that have happened since we've last been on since Tuesday night. So let's start off with the biggie. Josh Gordon goes to waivers, and the news was just killing people. No one was going to go ahead and release the news right after 4. It was someone has already claimed him, but then Dov Kleiman goes ahead and starts listing off names, going down the waiver wire. And finally, he gets to about 20. And I'm like, oh, my God, the Packers have a real shot at this. So I'm like, no, it's still not going to happen. Probably the Ravens or the Bills are going to take him. They need wide receivers. And I see the Ravens and the Bills passed. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, my God, it's going to happen. Seattle's number 28. Green Bay's 29. It lands on Seattle. Seattle takes him. Green Bay put in a waiver claim, folks. It has been confirmed. A waiver claim has been submitted, but we were one spot back. So we could have had Josh Gordon across from Devontae Adams in our offense. But hey, Seattle gets him, and Seattle now becomes more of a powerhouse on offense than they already are. You already have DK Metcalf. You already have Chris Carson, Russell Wilson, and then you have Josh Gordon and
Guess what?
Mr. Lockett.
Do you know what I like about him going to Seattle? They're going to stop trying to pound the rock so much. And when Green Bay
it's gonna work out as
when Green Bay recently has played Russell Wilson and they have not committed to running the ball and they have had his Russell throw the ball.
Yeah.
He has had 3-4 interception games versus them, and that was when our secondary was terrible, our defensive line was terrible.
Quentin Dix got 2 picks on him in the NFC Championship, folks.
Exactly.
That's how bad that defense was.
To me, getting him a toy on the outside actually hinders their offense and what they're really good at, because it's going to take away their identity. It was kind of like what happened to him last year when was it last year or 2 years ago when he had like 39 of their 40 or 41 touchdowns he had accounted for, and they, I think
it was last year.
Was it last year? And they missed the playoffs, didn't they? Yeah.
Seattle made the playoffs last year, sir.
Oh yeah, they did make the playoffs, but yeah, they didn't go anywhere.
It still doesn't matter because Seattle's consistent. They're still there every year. And even though they've gotten rid of other weapons around Wilson, they're still consistent.
I
everyone
want
counts
Russell
them out,
Wilson
then,
throwing the ball 30 or plus times. That's what I want, because when he does that, I feel that they will lose more than they win. When he only throws the ball 30 or less than 30 times, yeah.
Right now, DK Metcalf and Josh Gordon are luxury items because Chris Carson is running out of his mind right now. He's healthy. He's in the now for that offense, and he's just killing it. So, and that's why Russell Wilson has such a good MVP chance right now, is because Chris Carson is healthy. Whenever Russell Wilson doesn't have a running game, it gets a little messy. It starts to kind of Russell's feeling that full weight on his shoulders, folks. So right now, it's just he has a good shot at that MVP because of Chris Carson. Until Chris Carson goes down or he stops producing, or what Jay said, where they start leaning towards the pass, then yes. Yeah, then he starts hindering away from the MVP chance. But still, it's a great addition. I mean, I would love to have Josh Gordon for our offense. Can you imagine teams trying to defend Josh Gordon and Devontae Adams on the outside? I mean, that's ridiculous. And then Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams as the receiving backs. Come on.
I was actually getting excited that you were going to pull like some shyster move on me and like you'd been holding it, because usually you call me with news, and like the way your face looked here, I was like, he's going to tell me the freaking Packers got it. And then you're like, Seattle. And then I wanted to punch the screen and go home. I mean, I'm home, but I mean,
you're already home, sir. You can't. If you punch one of your computers, your other computer that you wouldn't punch would break because of how fragile it is.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't like Seattle.
But no. I know you don't, but it's still a good addition, though. They already have
good addition,
offense, and it makes them more dangerous.
It's almost an oxymoron waiver claim for them, though, because I feel like it's like It's a subtraction
don't
by
like
addition.
Seattle.
No. They're a good team. I don't like them, but they're a good team. Just like I don't like the Saints quarterback, but I still rank them number 1 in my power rankings. I'm not an idiot. I might have my issues, but I'm not an idiot.
No, you should go ahead and give a what is it? You should go ahead and You should go ahead and give them the props, though. I mean, Seattle is still a legitimate threat. Like they now with Gordon, they're still a legitimate threat. They cannot not be considered to get like a first round bye, because if they climb up the rankings somehow and get a first round bye, like 49ers and Saints play each other. 49ers play Green Bay. Somehow, say 2 of those teams cancel out and Seattle gets a bye, people are going to hate going up to Seattle and playing in the playoffs throughout the NFC playoffs.
Okay, I don't know if you noticed, Dave, but our special guest jumped on to show us that he is ready to go. So
he went out.
Yeah, well, I think he was just showing us that he was ready to go so that we could finish up our news updates quickly, take our first break, and get him on and bring him back.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put out one more news update. It's kind of important. Trent Williams came out today and said that he had a cancerous growth, not just a growth anymore. It was a cancerous growth about 4 or 5 years ago. The medical team knew about it. He had surgery. He had over like 75 staples, he said, in his head and a bunch of stitches holding it together. And the growth is forming out of this scar where he had this cancerous growth of. So now, since the medical team of the Skins whiffed on this baby, you've got, let's see, a couple of years now under your belt with other medical history with other players, like Jordan Reed being shoved back in injury after injury. The NFL and the NFLPA is now investigating this jointly. Not separately, folks, jointly. That means it's a big deal. The Redskins will probably have some ramifications coming from this, and it's not looking good for Dan Snyder. I've never liked the guy as an owner, never liked Bruce Allen as a GM, but now looking at what situation Trent Williams is in, I fully back on why he's holding out. I want him to hold out as long as Redskins have his contract. Get him to another team. He can still play. Redskins, you suck as an organization. Not on the field. As an organization, you suck. To mess with someone's life medically like that sucks.
It's the Redskins. It does not surprise me at all. Honestly, it just doesn't with them.
It wouldn't matter if it's a Lions. It's just the fact that they're messing with someone's health like that.
No, I mean, they just seem like one of those douchey kind of, like, run places that, like, take it far beyond, like, outside of football. Now you're messing with somebody's overall life. Like, nah.
Yeah.
It just seems like a Redskin type of thing to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm ready to go ahead and forget about it. I'm angry about it, but you know what? I can't do anything from being angry about it. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and go on that break and see if we can get Mr. Rem on.
Sounds good to me. Let's hit it. And if you haven't had enough of our banter tonight, you want to visit NFL Addictions on Facebook.com for all of your NFL banter and chatter. It's not a trash talk site, so keep it clean and keep it cordial. That's NFL Addictions on Facebook.com. And if you still got an itch to scratch when you're done with that, you want to visit Raz Addictions on Facebook.com for their version of the raffle for all kinds of cool prizes, even a chance at winning some cash. You buy a $10 raffle ticket for a chance at winning $100. That's a chance at making 10 times your money. It don't get any better than that. That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com for a chance at all kinds of cool prizes. Tell them what you've won, Dave.
I've won everything from tailgating barbecue sets. That I have a Packers one that I won, folks, for $400. I put $40 down on the spot. I won it, and it was out of 20 spots. It's really worth it. I've also won helmets that are signed. I've won banners that are signed. I've won memorabilia rings. I've won footballs that are signed and other Packers knickknacks because that's my team. But go ahead and check them out. Cheap, affordable prices for certified, authentic stuff.
That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com. Go there, play, and win. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at First and Goal Pod, myself at UPJ33, Dave is at Steak and Cheese, and the fantasy wonder himself, Dylan, at Dylan Busby1. Email us at firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com with all your football and Packer questions and comments, and you just might find yourself making the show live. That's firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com. And we are back, and we are joined by Rem, the host, and I believe the guy that runs it all, of the Chargers Country podcast, to break down the Chargers-Packers Week 9 matchup out in L.A. Welcome, and thanks for joining us today, Rem.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing good. It's a pleasure to have you on, man.
Thanks a lot. I'm excited for this weekend, man. Packers, Chargers.
It always is. It's always a good game when these two teams play. Always.
Yeah, of course.
Although I could go without having a 41-45 type of game. I'd like it to be more defensive than that.
Rivers and Rodgers always have that type of game, always.
Yeah, usually it's a shootout, but
But
I think it's a lot
you
more
know what, though?
side of the ball. Yeah.
We got to go ahead and start off with